Rainbow trout are the most plentiful at the Neosho National Fish Hatchery, and this is their story. The rainbows of Neosho come to the hatchery as eggs and leave as 10-inch sticks of dynamite, ready to test their instincts against any fisherman bent on their capture. About 5 times a year, between 80 and 100,000 eggs arrive at the Neosho hatchery by overnight truck delivery. Packed safely in a small box, it's hard to imagine that 100,000 eggs can be inside. Although eggs are taken from several federal facilities throughout the United States, Neosho usually receives them from the Ennis National Fish Hatchery in Ennis, Montana. Some 18 to 21 days after they are taken during the spawning process in Montana, the eggs are packed in sterile cases and shipped to Neosho. Before being brought inside the hatchery building, the shipping crates and eggs are thoroughly disinfected. This is to prevent any possibility of contamination. Water, fish, or equipment contaminated by disease can kill thousands of fish and force the hatchery to close down for a long period of time. Once inside the hatchery building, the eggs are put into special trays and placed in an incubator. There they are checked daily as everyone waits for the miracle of life. In a week to 10 days, the eggs begin to hatch, and small sac fry, less than an inch long, swim free from the egg. The hatchlings are called sac fry because they have a sac attached to their bodies. This sac is really a bagged lunch which nature attaches to the fry. It is what they will feed on for several days. After hatching is complete in the incubators, the eggs are moved to a large tank in the hatchery building. The eggs and the sac fry immediately drift to the bottom and hide in special matting. There they stay until the fry have used up the food in their sacs. This takes about 14 days, and at that time the young fry start to swim to the top of the tank looking for food. At that point, hatchery workers take over the feeding chores, and for about 3 months the rainbows stay in the tanks. Food for the young fry in the tanks is a specially formulated diet of fish meal, vitamins, and minerals. And as a matter of fact, the very first Neosho fish hatchery manager was instrumental in developing what is now the standard trout diet. By the end of 3 months, the trout have grown to about 3 inches, growing approximately an inch a month. Their increased size crowds the indoor tanks, so they are moved outside to the large raceways. This frees up the tanks for the next batch of sac fry. The trout continue to grow in the raceways, which are covered to prevent wild birds from feeding on the small rainbows. Eventually, some are transferred to the huge outdoor warm water ponds to finish their stay in Neosho. The fish are fed commercial feed pellets at a rate of 1.5% of their body weight each day. Feeding is one of the most popular activities with the hatchery visitors. A pail of fresh fish food is always on hand, and everyone is welcome to take a cupful to help satisfy the always hungry rainbows. With good care and proper feeding, the trout finally measure up to their 10-inch potential. It has been 10 months since they arrived as eggs, and now it is time for them to be loaded into trucks for stocking the streams and the lakes. Most of the rainbows are released in Lake Taneycomo, a large man-made lake in Taney County, Missouri. Before this lake was built, the river in this area supported smallmouth bass. After the river was dammed to create the lake, cold water taken from the lake bottom and discharged through turbines to generate electricity was no longer suitable for bass. But the cold water was perfect for rainbow trout. The rainbows then introduced into the lake have been very successful. These rainbow trout also generate millions of dollars for the state of Missouri's economy. It's a big job to take a tiny egg and nurture it until it turns into a beauty like this full-grown rainbow trout. But that is just part of the everyday workload at the Neosho National Fish Hatchery. Its success is measured when the fish are released, and that is a day the fishermen look forward to. Once the rainbows hit wild water, they are on their own. They must learn to find food, fend off their enemies, and evade the fisherman's hook if possible. They are now part of nature's wonderful cycle of life. Watching the rainbows being released is a small reward for the work well done. Each fish released is a symbol of success for the staff at the Neosho National Fish Hatchery and for the rainbows in Neosho.